just like that, they buy it. They eat it up. You pander to them, you thank them. I mean, really, people, I thought you were a little bit smarter than that. I mean, it's just so easy to say the name of the city. You cheer.
Hey, Stephanie,
you cheer. I mean, just come on.
Welcome to the A Show.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am Justin, here with Meelz. I feel good this week, Meelz. I feel great.
Really? Why?
I've been hopped up on Red Bulls all day.
Well, listen, it comes with the job, isn't it?
Aha! Wink, wink. I zoomed through the notes this morning at 10 a.m. I know you love that.
Red Bull living up to its name, honestly. It's giving you wings. It's giving you a lot more than that, I'll tell you that.
I'm flying, motherfucker.
It's giving you wings, dental, insurance. Oh my! I feel like a coke addict on Red Bull. Well, listen. Maybe one day there'll be a proper sponsor of this podcast. But listen, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you feel so productive. You feel so great. You feel so a lot of things. Yeah, very happy for you, man. Congrats.
You know what I'm happy about?
What?
It's the hottest week of the summer season for wrestling. We have so much stuff coming down the pipeline just this month. This weekend alone, we have Summerslam, NXT TakeOver, and the G1 finals, or the final night to the G1 and the G1 finals. This same. Then 2.5 weeks after that, or 1.5 weeks after that, we have All Out with AEW, which pretty much propels us into the fall season of wrestling when it gets kind of spooky again, right before Mania season. And I'm really excited for just the rest of this month of wrestling. So much wrestling content that we have. Shout out to MJ of the call up that will be doing his NXT TakeOver predictions. Of course, we don't do them on the A Show anymore. We plead with you to watch or listen to the call up with MJ, where he'll be making his own predictions. And we also have the G Show, which also released an episode on Wednesday of the past 4 nights of the G1 Climax tournament, just going over all of the spectrum of wrestling that is happening right now, including with the A Show, which you're listening to right now, which we'll be talking about SummerSlam a little bit later on the show.
You're very hopped up on Red Bull. This is the new Justin. This is Red Bull Justin, the one who's got wings, baby.
I need to take about 4 more of these every single Wednesday, because I come straight home. I don't take a break.
Well, listen,
I go straight in.
You may have to send me a case, because this has been a long day. Before we got to, I probably got home maybe an hour before this, which as you probably realize, it's multiple hours after I actually get home from work. But it's been a whole day for me as well. But yeah, man, take whatever you need to get you in the zone for the A Show, man. This is episode 94. That means we're a couple of episodes away from the 100, the big seto. Oh my God. I think that's 0 in Spanish. What's 100 in Spanish? Cien?
I do know. I think it is Cien. It's Cien.
There we go. Come on, man. It all comes full circle. It all comes full circle, baby. I want to say one thing. Might end up changing the mood of this podcast. I want to say I would feel remiss if you said it on at least a public platform where people are missing, sending my thoughts and condolences and everything to the people of Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso, Texas. Yeah. Just for everything that's happened over the last couple days. I'll say that in terms of just keeping it short, because we do have a very long show today. You guys don't deserve it. No one deserves it. We need to do better as a country. We need to do better as citizens. We need to do just better in general. No one deserves to go through what this country and those people specifically and those people's families and everybody has gone through over the last couple days and over the last couple weeks. This is kind of crazy. It's a crazy period in America, especially when other countries are saying like, hey, maybe you watch out when you're visiting America. We don't deserve this. We deserve change. And I hope to God change is coming. And that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, we can't say thoughts and prayers enough. I don't think that's enough anymore. Some actual action needs to be taken. I absolutely agree. It's gone on for way too fucking long. But I mean, the most that I could do, most that Meelz can do is send our condolences and, ironically send our prayers to these people. But there's some change needs to happen. It's ridiculous. So yeah, our thoughts go out to everybody affected by those tragedies over the past weekend. And even us starting No Holds Barred, we can't forget the passing of another legend, Harley Race, who passed away earlier this week as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think legitimately, and we probably would have covered it last week, but legitimately, like the day this podcast was released, was the news that it came out that Harley Race had passed away, and such an influential figure in professional wrestling, such a notable figure, is revered a great word? I'm not fully sure.
No, it is. It is. He is the reason why Triple H books NXT the way that he does. He's a guy who really, again, throughout decades, stepped up his game and was able to make people look like stars and was able to make himself look like just a larger than life performer in the business just by being just a technical wrestler, someone who could cut promos, someone who could literally make his opponents look great. Harley Race, it's no surprise Triple H took his playbook from him, and everyone used to call him a poor man's Harley Race. But, it just goes to show this, this influential guy in our generation was influenced by someone who, he took so much from. And, he's put it into this generation. And I think a lot of the people in NXT look up to him as well. They've learned a lot from him also. Yeah,
it's a loss, but we can at least look back and celebrate his career and the tremendous contributions that he given to the sport and just professional wrestling in general. I mean, decades upon decades upon decades and everything like that. So, you know what? Rest in peace to Harley Race. Yeah.
Let's get into some spicy talk, though.
On the No Holds Barred. We're on the No Holds Barred spicy tip. Let's go. Where are we going?
Hey, my man Roman Reigns got the #1 movie in America. Okay.
Is that what it is?
I heard my man Roman Reigns. It's all because of Roman. Okay.
I heard his part was not significant at all.
My man Roman Reigns stole the show. From what I heard.
Listen, you got to start somewhere, right? You got to start somewhere.
Feel me? Scorpion King, Hobbs and Shaw. Hey, you know what I'm saying? You got to start somewhere.
1A, 1B. That's right there, man. It's legitimately the same thing.
I heard Roman wrote the script. I heard Roman say, "Hey, whoa, Rock, fuck out of here. I do my own shit."
Well, no, okay? Now, you wouldn't be giving Roman all these props because of the comments he's made over the last couple of weeks. I mean, he's been getting, I don't want to say spicy, but he's been certainly getting very real and candid about the way he feels about things. You wouldn't be giving him props because of that, would you?
Hey, man, listen, I'm all for people telling the truth, okay? And keeping that same energy, all right? So this week, Roman Reigns is doing the rounds because, when you got the #1 movie in America, 1 foot in, 1 foot out the game. You feel me?
5 years left, baby. The 5-year plan.
5 years left. You know what I'm saying? 1 foot out the game on his whole shit. He said, you know what, man? They asked him about AEW this week and Seth Rollins' comments from last month. And this is what Roman Reigns said. You ready for this?
I'm ready. I mean, let's hear it.
Roman said, "I think Seth is being generous in calling AEW competition. I don't want to get too deep into this. And I said it before. It's an option and that's great for professional wrestlers, pretty cool for fans. Before my family was WWE only, we've been a territorial family. You had to move, work with different promotions and territories. I'm always going to be a pro wrestler. But at the end of the day, WWE is my home. It's what I represent. And we're so far ahead. You can see it on other shows. It's not easy to have a clean production. You have to have a lot of experience. That's a key point right there, Meelz. You hear that? You hear that? Want me to repeat that?
I mean,
I got you. No, I got you.
Drop a bomb on it.
You can see the other show. You can see it in other shows. It's not easy to have a clean production. You have to have a lot of experience. Our talent is top notch. We've got main eventers for days, but it is also our crew. They're busting asses all night to get the show running. There's so many people that make this place work. When you see other people out there trying to do it, you see the flaws.
You know what? You know how you need to say this? You need to say this however Nicki Minaj says it on Queen Radio.
You see the flaws! To freedom! Yeah, so pretty much he says nobody would do it like the WWE, period. Okay? Period. City girls. Period. How do you feel about that? Before we get to the comments on Jon Moxley, how do you feel about that?
I mean,
I feel like, before you start, I do feel as though the way he did it, I do feel as though the way that he did it is a lot better than the way Seth did it in a lot of ways. Like, he handled it real raw. Like, Seth kind of handled it like a little soft a little bit. You know what I mean?
I think the way that Seth handled it and the way he was retorting towards it, it was definitely, you know what? I'll say this. If in terms of how Roman handled it and Seth handled it, I think they both handle it ultimately in the same way, but I definitely did like Roman's a lot more. It seemed a little bit more direct, seemed a little bit more polished, seemed a little bit less angsty and more controlled, and it's kind of, he's dropping facts. He's like, listen, our talent is top notch. We have a production. Not only is
he not lying.
He's I mean, it's the WWE. It's the biggest game in town. This isn't a one-man job. This isn't a six-man job. This is multi-million dollars. There are many people backstage. There are many people things, and he's right. It's not hard. It's not easy to be able to pull this off every week with the production value and everything that they do every week, but they manage to do it. I think this is a lot more to people dismissing WWE and him responding to that, like, essentially.
So they also spoke to Roman in another interview about Jon Moxley's comments about, if you remember, a couple of months ago, Jon Moxley said they gave me a promo.
Of course, I remember it. How could we forget?
Yeah, and he said, you know what, man, it is pivot, but I'm in New Japan, cutting worse promos than that.
All right. So, I mean, essentially, in terms of just, I'll take.
Do you like my Jon Moxley? Do you like my Jon Moxley?
I think it's the Red Bull talking, but
Red Bull's like crack, baby.
It works like it. Essentially, Jon Moxley was saying, like, listen, WWE forced a lot of stuff upon me. They had me saying a lot of stuff. They wrote a lot of stuff that to me was crap. That to me was kind of, my character in terms of the way it's handled. I didn't necessarily like how it was handled, and I didn't like really anything that was sort of given to me. But I mean, Roman decided he was going to talk that talk this week, and he responded to those comments.
Mm-hmm.
At least, not responded to those comments. I don't want to say like he came out on social media, heard Dean's comments, and said, "I got to talk mine." But essentially, he was approached about it. He was asked a question about it, and here was his. I mean, I think you'll say his response better than I could.
Yeah. So he was asked about, of course, these comments, and he said no. They asked him if he had ever experienced anything like that, and he says no. And that's the thing. If you refuse to say it, you refuse to say it. You didn't say the stuff, and nothing happened. You didn't get fired, so you don't have to do any of that stuff. If you don't really want to do it, you have to speak up for yourself. That's the key in this business. That's a big contradictory in my mind right there, as far as what Moxley said. If you chose not to say that one thing, why can't you choose not to say the other thing? Hey, I mean,
Roman is doing. It's
the same thing you were saying.
Roman is saying, listen, 2 + 2 = 4. That's what he's saying. Mm-hmm. He's like, listen, it's pretty simple. Why are you complaining about saying one thing? But all of a sudden, now you're complaining about being forced to say something, even though you denied it before. He was like, listen, a spade is a spade. Like, what are we really talking about? It sounds very confusing in terms of what he's saying. And Roman's just like, I'm confused. I need you to break this down for me, because it says, like you said, one thing. But then when it comes to this other thing, now it's a completely different story, and now it's kind of being taken out of context and things like that. If you can't say it, if you can refuse to say it one time, why can't you refuse to say it another time? And
is it Uchi Wally? Isn't one Mike Mox? Which one is it?
Oh my God.
Anyway, I respect Roman. I think what he said here was Again, I like to see his perspective on things. He doesn't really speak out a lot about things like this.
I like also he doesn't really mince words. He doesn't really.
No, yeah.
He kind of gets to the point, and that's kind of really what this was, a very succinct sort of analysis and response to this. And he's kind of posing a question. He's like, if not that I don't get it. But I like the response too. I'm not mad.
Next up, another busy week for Roman Reigns. It was revealed this week that the WWE 2K20 cover would feature Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch. This was revealed on Monday with a pretty cool trailer showing Becky Lynch dropping down from the ceiling like Batman, meeting up with Roman, and the cover was revealed from there. I think it's pretty sleek. I like the idea of Roman kind of passing the torch, so to speak, to Becky on the cover and kind of sharing the spotlight with her front and center, and him kind of, kind of glaring off. I really like the cover. It's the first time, I think, also in 2K that they've had two people on the cover like that.
I think, it's interesting. We last week we said, listen, it's going to be Becky on the cover. At no point in my mind did I even consider Roman Reigns, but now I'm thinking like, why wouldn't they put Roman Reigns on it?
Yeah, he never had one before, so yeah.
It's it's not. I'm not mad at it. I like the way the color looks. It's a great representation of the WWE right now. It's a great representation of everything moving forward. I think the wishes that we anticipated last week in terms of what we were talking about, it ended up coming through because there are multiple women's storylines in the story mode for this game, which is big. It's something that's never really truly been done before. Unless you're, an owner of like WWF No Mercy for N64, one of the greatest games on damn earth. But it hasn't really been done before. It hasn't really. They're breaking a lot of new ground with this. I don't know if they're breaking any ground like visually or digitally or gameplay or anything, but they're breaking a lot of ground in terms of what they've added to this game and what this game represents. I'm very happy with it. The cover looks great. The commercial was great. They're just knocking it out the park every year, to be honest.
Now, of course, we will be having a lot more information on 2K as the game gets closer to release. I'm hoping 2K sends me an email, possibly. What's going on, guys? Let us know. So another bit of news from the same vein of the 2K20 cover. It was also revealed that longtime producer of the WWE games, developer rather of the WWE games, Yuke's Design, has left the series, and they've left the production of it, beginning with 2K20. Which again blindsided a lot of people. I think this was first reported by people noticing when you went to pre-order the game or look at the actual information on the game, they were not featured in the developer section, and it was later confirmed that week or this week that they were not a part of the game anymore. Also confirmed by 2K themselves. They put out a video saying that Yuke's had pretty much left, and they were. The development of the 2K games is now being handled by Visual Concepts, solely by them. If you don't know by now, Visual Concepts are the same people that make the NBA 2K games, which are multi-million sellers, some of the highest grossing games on any platform in any decade here. And I think that's pretty interesting going forward. As someone who plays the game, there are a lot of complaints that we have, even if 2K19 was pretty good. There are things such as, upgradable rosters, upgradable attires that kind of change throughout the year, right, that these games don't have. And we're hoping that with the NBA guys in the helm, that they'll be able to do that and make the game feel more alive, and I'm hoping that, they'll change the actual gameplay as well. Because I remember like last week I said the controls are a little bit too complicated still. Mm-hmm. And I hope that they are able to streamline those as well. I don't think that we'll see that change in 2K20 though. I think that's something that we're going to see 2, 3, 4 years down the line. Because all from everything I read when I researched this is that 2K was taken completely by surprise by Yuke's leaving. Earlier this year, Yuke's was like, we want to make another wrestling game. We want to make another, a completely new, different wrestling game that isn't WWE. Right. And that raised a lot of red flags. And with them leaving, it's putting up a lot of questions in the air of what they're going to do, but also how Visual Concepts is going to develop this game in the future. So it's going to be really interesting.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, this game has a target release date. I believe it is... Which day is
October
it?
22nd. October 22nd.
October 22nd. October 22nd. And that date is looming. It's coming very quickly. We haven't got a lot of, in terms of, have we got visuals in terms of gameplay and things like that?
We've got the actual, and they touted this as having the most reveals that they ever did in any reveal, where they showed the game, because usually they'll just show pictures.
Of course.
But the thing about this
Bailey
is
Roman, of course, yes.
Yeah, like we saw, like I said last week, they were late. Like usually they reveal the game in June.
Yes.
So they're hella behind. Of course they're going to reveal everything in August. The game comes out in 2 months. So I think we got a couple of screenshots of the game, but also a little bit of it in motion. I mean, again, doesn't look that much different from last year, as they never usually do. So of course you don't see the lack of Yuke's influence here. I think they're going to be using the engine for quite a while after this. But again, like these changes are going to happen kind of gradually over time. So I'm not sure what we could see here that is changed. And again, I'm hoping that once again we get that email from 2K like we did last year to come test the game out and see what they're bringing to it.
Yeah, I think everyone's anticipated for this game moving forward, especially considering, they're touting once again major roster, major legends, major everything. It continues to sort of build from that aspect. So let's hope we get something new, we get something fresh, and we get something that can last longer than maybe like a quarter of a calendar year.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know Mark for sure is like, if NBA can have this, WWE should have it, and he's finally kind of getting his wish here. So hopefully we'll be able to see that sooner than later. Last thing on No Holds Barred, have you been seeing this thing with Matt Riddle?
I did not. I haven't seen the video. I haven't seen anything. I got the gist of it from how the timeline was reacting to it and how Chris Jericho reacted to it. But please inform me of what's going on.
So, of course, Matt Riddle has been poking the bear as far as Goldberg goes, and he's been doing that for the last couple months.
By the way, they will both be in Toronto.
Yeah,
it's go big or go home.
I want like pull up, Matt. Like I fucks with you, but you got to pull up, baby.
They gonna take the picture together. It's gonna be cool. We smooth everything over, bro. My new bro, and then Goldberg gonna be like my new bro, or something along those lines. They gonna smooth everything over. They ain't about that life. Broberg.
So he's been poking the bear at Goldberg for the last couple of months on social media,
of course.
And most notably during the Saudi event which had Goldberg and Undertaker on it, which sparked everything here. Chris Jericho had retweeted a tweet from some person online, basically telling Matt Riddle like, "Yo, shut your mouth," which prompted Matt Riddle to kind of go on Twitter to address all of his critics, which included Booker T, who he said he likes. And if you remember correctly, Booker T said that Matt needs to basically learn how to work.
Matt needs to calm down, man. Like he needs to just bring it back. He's got a great spot in the D. He just needs to bring it down, man. Because in the business, and I know the Booker T isms. Yes, I hope he doesn't take offense to that. I love him.
Yeah, and Matt loves him too. He said he actually likes him, but you got to look at one of my matches. He went at Lance Storm, but then he said, "Chris Jericho, I'll beat the shit out of you."
I mean,
and that's what the whole mood changed in the room, because I like that talk.
Yeah, of course, but
I like that talk.
Matt Riddle, we know he's a fighter. Chris Jericho, we've heard he's a fighter. We heard he's a scrappy gentleman himself. Man tried to press Brock Lesnar a couple years ago at SummerSlam. Remember that?
He kind of tubby though.
I mean,
he kind of tubby though. Matt Riddle will whoop his fucking ass.
I mean, I think when his body types ever determine who's going to win a fight.
I almost slipped up. Come on. Matt Riddle was a UFC fighter. He will whoop his ass.
Probably.
Booker T might be the only even fight between the three of the people he named.
Booker T,
because Booker got black man ass.
Booker's from the streets. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, he might get a couple of licks off, but I'll still give it to Matt Riddle on that. On some real shit. I might have to do it for that. But Matt, I fuck with your energy, but I think he is being a little bit too adversarial on social media. I think that he does need to kind of
reel it
after
back.
This, peel it. Yeah, peel it back. I fuck with him. I don't want to see this ruin him.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could.
Yeah, these are probably not Lance Storm, But those last two are people that have, or actually not even Jericho. Like, you don't want to disrespect Booker T. He's still got a relationship. You still got to see him. You know, Jericho, whatever. I don't think he'll be back in the E for quite some time. But like even Goldberg, like, all right, we get it. I get it. We all get it. But on Sunday, are you mean to tell me I'm not going to be excited for his match? Fuck no. Like I'm gonna be very, very much looking forward to that match. So,
right.
It's still cool. He still gets a pop. Like he's still popular. Like Matt, he has so far to go. As far as not even just performance wise, but so far to go is probably as far as like how big he can get as a star. I don't want to see him dragged down by being a troll on the internet. That's just really weird for him to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, Matt, tighten up, Prella. Tighten up. Tighten
up, man. Listen.
So
don't let it happen. You're on a great trajectory right now. You made the A show top 10.
Let's
keep it going.
Thanks to everyone who again who gave us their own top 10s.
Yeah, and gave us their own top 10 and commented and everything like that and shared it as well. We got a lot of good feedback as opposed to last year. So I think we can say that we continue this. We continue to make it bigger. We continue to make it better. We can actually become an actual authority on this.
We are an authority. Fuck that. We are an authority. My goal, my dream would be to have us, Cheap Heat, Black Announce Table, all of the podcast to call it Ruthless Aggression, all that shit. We hash out a list.
Rap, of course.
Wrestle Rap. We hash out a list between that. We become the Justice League, or you know what I'm saying? Like we got to show love. You know what I'm saying? I think we got to show love to everybody.
I agree. Yeah.
Let's talk about SummerSlam.
Let's do it. SummerSlam is this Sunday, coming up on the WWE Network. It is. I mean, what are your general thoughts about this card thus far? It seems to be fleshed out. I mean, we could get one or two more matches somewhere, but it seems to be regardless fleshed out. As SummerSlam is, as it is, as we're reporting now on Wednesday night, how do you feel about the card?
I like it. I like it a little bit better than last month's Extreme Rules card. I think that, how many rematches are we getting here? Like 0.
No, we're getting rematches.
We're getting Bray. No, that's not a rematch. We're getting AJ and Ricochet.
Depends. You talking about recent rematches?
Yeah, recent, like from the last show.
Okay.
Like practically none.
Yeah, we got AJ, Ricochet. Brock Seth happened a couple months ago, but other than that, everything is kind of new. It's kind of fresh,
and that's what I like about it. Obviously we've seen Finn, Bray before, but again, we'll talk about that in a second. But there is one thing that was brought up earlier today on Twitter, from Chris Novak. Shout out to him. A lot of these matches feel as though like they are like set in stone that this person has to win or else it won't make sense, essentially. And I think that I feel that throughout this whole card. It's like with some of these, it's like, sure that we could try and go against the grain and say the other person might win, but I really think that a lot of this, like if certain matches go a different way, I'm going to be highly confused.
Yeah, this is a card that could essentially so the results of this card kind of set the direction for the fall, which is essentially begins how things go on for the Royal Rumble season and stuff like that. But this kind of sets the direction of the WWE television we're going to be watching for the next 4 months or so, because WWE, at this point, we won't get many major title changes. Probably one more before Survivor Series, but we won't get any more major title changes or big, super programs until we head to the road to WrestleMania. So a lot of this, a lot of what we plan to see and what we plan to do in WWE has, I think over the last couple of weeks, you talk about Raw and SmackDown, we don't have to talk about the shows just in general, but it's been an uptick in sort of the quality, and then people have responded with the ratings, and people have continued to tune in for the shows. I think they've over the last couple of weeks they've kind of stepped it up in terms of just the presentation and storylines and everything on the show, and we would just want to see that kind of ruined by how this card kind of goes. But let's get into the card.
Yeah. First off, this has been announced for the kickoff already. You have Drew Gulak versus Oney Lorcan for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. Oney wanted Drew, and he got Drew. He was basically qualified for the match on 205 Live this week.
Everybody gets a chance.
Everyone. And I'm okay with it being Oney. I think Oney has been one of the hardest workers in any division, in any show for the past 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I think he's this tremendous talent. I'm so glad that he's going to be able to show this off on such a huge platform. This is someone who had only been on one takeover.
Yeah, I mean,
ever?
I think either one. No, he was in the ladder match, and then he was also in probably NXT Brooklyn last year because I do remember seeing him, and or maybe it was the show
was Chicago.
before that. It was
Chicago.
Something along those lines. But man, I think Oney Lorcan is somebody who, when he gets the opportunity to sort of show up and show out, he delivers in every single way possible.
Yeah.
There is an opportunity that sort of passes him by.
Yeah, and I think that again, Drew Gulak, I put him over so big on the show last week. I think he's on a tremendous run here. I think that this is someone who absolutely needs to be in the main roster right now. He's doing some of his best work that he's done since he's entered the company right now. I think he's one of my favorite wrestlers to watch. I will be home watching this match at the kickoff show. A lot of people are always complaining about why are they on the kickoff show? It's stuff like this. It's going to hook me from the moment the kickoff show is on. I'm going to be watching this match. However, I do think it's too early for Drew to lose. I think Oney's going to try, but Drew is going to come out on top here. I think Drew Gulak's going to win.
Yeah, I think Drew Gulak is going to win, but I think we're going to see an amazing match, and these are two people who are going to win over the crowd as they do on every sort of show they've been on.
Next up, main card here. We have Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus in a match that's been deemed as a dream match. Not a lot of creative here. We basically just found out it was going to happen last week, and it's happening. Personally, I feel like Charlotte has a lot of work to do here. I think this is going to really kind of test what she can do with pretty much anyone. I felt she made Liv Morgan, and of course, listen, Liv is no Trish, okay? But I'm saying, like, as far as working with opponents that are at her level, above and below it, this is going to be a test for her with Trish, who is coming off of, not having wrestled for a year. It's obviously going to be maybe a lot of bells and whistles here, so to speak.
I think Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus. I mean, this is Trish Stratus is telling this as her last match ever. She doesn't plan on wrestling after this. I think Charlotte Flair, in terms of just the work that's cut out for her. I mean, Trish is formidable. I don't want to actually say that Trish isn't, Trish can't do anything in the ring, or Charlotte Flair is going to have to really carry her. But sort of the difference in the landscape of WWE from when it was a couple years ago is completely different, and our expectations for the women are completely different. To me, I don't know, the police is following me.
Police.
But what did you do?
It's the smoke alarm.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, my girlfriend's cooking.
Oh, okay. All right. God bless you.
I feel safe.
You want to handle that?
No, I'm good. Let's go.
No, you want to talk to her?
No, I think we can.
No, just I'll mark it. Turn it off. Oh, okay. It's off.
Oh, there you go.
It's off.
It's off.
It's off.
That actually makes this funny.
Okay.
Actually makes this funny.
Listen, Charlotte Flair is going to pick up the win. It doesn't make sense if Trish picks up the win, but this is in her hometown of Toronto. I expect a lot of emotional, and I expect a lot of things. I expect it to actually be a marquee match on the show. I know it's been kind of just thrown together, but Trish Stratus, Toronto, Charlotte Flair, the Queen, to me, monumental.
Yeah. It's a big moment. It is a big moment. It is a big match. I'm not going to say that I'm not looking forward to it. And, to be able to see Trish's last match is going to be dope as well. I think she'll leave it all out there on the mat on Sunday. And I think no one more deserving of that than obviously someone they've been pushing to be that one in Charlotte Flair. I mean, this is someone who gets to end undefeated streaks, main event WrestleManias, and be the recipient of, one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time's last match. matches. What more can we say about Charlotte Flair's resume here? But I think it's going to be a pretty good, solid match, and I think Charlotte's going to win.
Yeah.
Next up, Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler. I will say I love how they've kind of hinted at this match throughout the past couple of weeks, with Dolph, subtly shitting on Goldberg. I think that it has been really cool. I mean, I even asked out loud, like, is this leading to Goldberg? Because we hadn't heard anything about it. Always a surprise when Goldberg comes out. I really like the reveal of Goldberg on Raw this week as well. I thought it was really, really cool with Sean saying, because we were thinking we're going to get HBK, and he said, oh, no, it's not me either. And then Goldberg comes out. I popped. I liked it a lot.
I think they did a lot of smart things. I mean, this program has been handled pretty well, especially for Goldberg kind of just inserting himself in. But like you said, everything has been handled masterfully. The tiny little jabs, the incorporation of the Shawn Michaels. The Shawn Michaels part of this entire feud, and The Miz as well, has heated up Dolph Ziggler for this moment. I think if we were expecting any other match besides maybe if it was Dolph versus HBK, it probably would have been the same thing. If it was Dolph versus Miz, probably doesn't get the same sort of value as we anticipate with Dolph versus Goldberg. But they've managed to heat him up very, very well. I'll give him that.
Mm-hmm.
And we got him against Goldberg, and Goldberg is, again, this is Summer's WrestleMania. Goldberg is a name and it's someone that you want in there. I'm very much so looking forward to this clash.
Goldberg wins. I think we're both going to agree with that.
Do you think Goldberg has any more? I mean, he's fighting Dolph Ziggler at this point. How many more matches do you feel like he has in him?
I honestly, I keep saying this, and I don't know if you've been agreeing with it or someone has been like kind of dissuading me from it. I think they're going to do Goldberg Taker again. I really do think they're going to do it again.
I think so too.
I think we get that at Survivor Series as a big marquee match. It's in Chicago, correct?
Yeah.
I think we're getting that again, and I think I think that both of those men have too much pride to let what happened in Saudi Arabia kind of define that match. I think they're definitely going to do it again, and I want to see it.
I will say I also want to see it. I would like to see it. Monique Gift, I would like to see it.
One of the most fascinating matches of the last decade.
Really, though. Really.
And I want to see it again. So, this next match is Finn Balor versus The Fiend, Bray Wyatt.
This is a match I'm not really... I'm not really looking forward to be honest with you. Based on the circumstances...
Cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was cool when it was the Firefly vignettes, but as we get to the bell ringing and we're getting real close to it...
It's becoming increasingly real, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's becoming very, very real that, damn, Bray Wyatt he's going to be fighting in the ring again. Damn, we really got to see this over again.
Yeah. I'm more afraid of him in the ring than I am that mask.
Yes. This feud has really done nothing for me. Based on the circumstances just around this entire thing, Bray Wyatt, this is his debut match, or re-debut in a sense. Finn Balor, we know he's on his way out. We kind of got an idea of what's going to happen. The only thing that could surprise me is the sort of variables that can happen, and sort of the antics, and sort of the production that they put into the Fiend Bray Wyatt and what they kind of do on the SummerSlam stage. That is really the only thing that entices me or surprises me or anything. That'll get any sort of rise from me. But as far as actually seeing this match, I am not looking forward to seeing this match. Not that I think it's going to be bad, but I don't personally care for it. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think Bray getting bogged into the upper mid card, and again, I always say this: you need characters like this in wrestling. But I think they just do it so much better with Alistair. Like, look at the way he was portrayed on SmackDown. As hilarious as the microphone thing was,
that was weird, but
it was a presence, though. It was like when he popped up, it was like, oh shit, where is he? And it looked like he was in a coffin. And then he popped up like that. They handled Alistair so much cooler than they've ever handled Bray, and he's actually made to look like a fucking star, and he can actually go.
Yes.
When that bell rings, Finn is gonna have to bump like crazy and do a lot of wild shit to get over whatever the fuck they're gonna be doing with this character.
It's still not gonna be good. It's still not gonna be good. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. To be honest with you, it's a lot because of Bray Wyatt, his working style, and I think his working style is it's of like another era. It's actually of an era that I don't. It's legitimately of the era of the previous NXT. It's of the era of the what's Miz's old sidekick, the Alex Rileys, and the Fandangos. No offense to Fandango, but it's of that era where it's not a particularly exciting style. They were just kind of taught headlocks and rest holds and.
But he was one of the only characters.
Yeah, but the character can't save you. I mean, the character only goes this far. If he remained as a character, I'm all full in on the Fiend Bray Wyatt. But to actually have to go through his matches, and he has not had one. He's had one match. We both agree on that same ass match that happened. It's legitimately almost a 5-year anniversary of this goddamn match. Or I think it's actually past the 5 years. I forgot if it happened in 2014 or 2015.
The Daniel Bryan match.
Yeah, it's the one ass match.
Only good match he's ever had.
Only good match, and that was 4 or 5 years ago. Without the Wyatt, family. So it's kind of like, where do we go from here? I'm not particularly excited for this match. I could care less who wins. It's going to be the Bray Wyatt, but I'm not particularly excited.
My bigger concern is the fact that they're debuting him at SummerSlam.
I mean, but it's weird. But you go back in history. This is also the pay-per-view where Bray Wyatt debuted for real in the ring. Yeah, he faced
you're right.
Kane in that Ring of Fire, Not an Inferno match in 2011. What a dark time.
Yeah, Finn, have fun. Have a great vacation.
Enjoy.
We'll see you. We'll see you in Chicago.
I'm jealous.
I feel bad for whoever's got Bray next. Next up, AJ Styles versus Ricochet for the WWE United States Championship. These matches haven't been terrible. They've been actually pretty good. I think if you give this time, and AJ it seems as though he wants to work now that he's heel. He seems reinvigorated, if you will, now that he's a heel. I think it'll be great. I don't see this ending here, though. I really don't.
I think this match. I think this match will get time, and I think this match will get the showcase that it deserved. For some reason, it just seems like AJ Styles and SummerSlam, he gets the time. I mean, it hasn't always been a great, match, but he's managed to show off at SummerSlam and continue to do his thing. If this match gets, any particular set of time, give it 15 minutes, give it 17 minutes, anything of that, we're in for a good match. I think AJ Styles is a heel. He's ready to bump his ass off. He's ready to put in the work. He's ready to do the things to shine up Ricochet. And I think Ricochet is going to flourish in this position, especially on the biggest pay-per-view stage of them all. So that he's experienced thus far. Yeah. So I like this match.
I think Ricochet will get the belt back. This is like the one match. This is the one match where like whoever wins, I don't think this is the end.
Yeah, I think it would. I think it would do a disservice if Ricochet lost.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't know how they would come back from this unless they do another number one contender match.
Which how many Ricochet overcomes the odds matches can you have here?
Right. I want to say Ricochet wins, but he wins by disqualification. That's what
okay. Yeah, that's fair. I would definitely say end it. What's next? Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, I'd say end it there. I think it'll be great though.
Yeah, I feel like Ricochet goes the distance. AJ can't put him away, and then AJ has to resort to some chicanery to retain the title because there's this spry young guy who's kind of showing him up and showing him off, and he can't really put him away really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck, Ricochet. Next up, Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon. If Kevin Owens loses, he will be forced to quit the WWE. This is, once again, another kind of re-rock from literally last year between these two. I think the storyline's been done pretty well. I
But
like Kevin Owens in this role.
it's flipped a bit. Yeah, they're in different roles at this time, possibly even better roles than it was before.
I really, really like, what they've done with Kevin Owens. He's literally like one of my favorite characters on TV again, and never thought that would happen. Because as you know, I've been down a lot of years. I think there's going to be a lot of BS in this match, but again, even with the stipulation, I don't see where they write themselves out of this. Even if it was like a Stone Cold-esque story here, where there's like a loophole. Mm-hmm. So I do think Kevin Owens will win, but I don't think it's over between these two.
I like the little segment on SmackDown where Kevin Owens is like, "You got to put something on the line. If you lose, you are out of here." And Shane's like, "Nah."
I ain't doing that shit.
No. And it's like, thankfully, there was someone in the McMahon family is like, "Nah, no," or something along those lines. Even though he's like, "You have no balls" or something. But listen, Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon, not fully against this.
So, do you think Kevin Owens is going to win here?
Yeah. I mean,
it doesn't make sense if he does it. Like it's weird.
Yeah, right. He kind of has to at this point, right? Like, where does this end if it doesn't? If he doesn't win, where does this end? Like the Shane McMahon, Shane McMahon's had a longer run than Jinder Mahal at this point. Like he has been wreaking havoc on the roster. I mean, he beat Roman. I mean, where does it end if not here? So Kevin Owens is going to be, and to be honest, if Kevin Owens is the one to do it, that's big on him. I mean, it's huge for him.
I honestly think he's going to be the champ by Rumble.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
I think that'll be the thing. Next match, real interesting match here. Bayley versus Ember Moon for the WWE SmackDown Live Women's Championship. I think there is, to me, a certain level of non-heat in this match. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah. What the hell is going on here? That is what I'm wondering. This has been a SmackDown program. Granted, I think this is a program could benefit from more legs, could benefit from more months under it. This isn't something that can be done in 1 month and kind of establish both sides. You kind of end up rushing you end up kind of like, instead of painting this picture with sort of broad strokes, you end up kind of just like scribbling some shit down real fast and hoping the best thing works. I think Bayley and Ember Moon, it's just been weird. I think they've tried all the little things that work for feuds like this, the little,
tag team shit,
the tag team stuff, the I'm gonna save you from this stuff, but I don't really like you, like I'm gonna attack you, but they've tried all the things like this. It hasn't particularly worked.
No.
Bayley going into Toronto, God bless her.
They're gonna destroy her.
And Ember Moon herself, like, I think if you want to keep it real for me, I say put it on Ember. Put it on Ember. What do you have to lose by putting it on Ember? I don't think you lose anything. I think you actually you present potentially more challengers for her. You present a different sort of landscape for the women's championship scene. I don't see how much farther you go with Bayley as champion. I don't see where this is heading.
Yeah, I love the way Bayley's been booked. I can't understate that enough. I think she's one of the strongest faces they have on the roster. I've seen a couple people say maybe they should change. They should flip Ember. I think you absolutely should not do that.
Oh yeah, no.
She has no character to speak of, and I think that she would flounder Natalya like Natalya does, and we'll get to her in a second as a heel in that role. I think that you just make the match really good and you make them both look good. I'm with you, Meelz. I do think that Ember could use a run or get a shot and have them both trade back and forth. But you also have Charlotte kind of coming out of a program with Trish here, and I think she's going to be inserted pretty quickly as well.
I agree.
So I think that those three would make Ember, or those two would make Ember.
I think I think what the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship needs, and I think one of the benefits of passing it to Ember is you make it a lot more of a competitive division. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of it just being, okay, it's Charlotte, it's Bayley, then maybe Charlotte again, and maybe Bayley again. You make it a competitive you make it a competitive division, and you say, like, listen, at any point, we've established this sort of division with these girls. It's kind of like what SmackDown did a number of years ago. I mean, they gave the belt to Carmella. Carmella has only benefited from having that belt, and she hasn't been even as close to as terrible as she was in 2016, 2017. She's actually stepped up her game so much. And there was a point on, last year's SmackDown roster where they had Carmella, Naomi, Asuka, Charlotte, Becky, all former women's championship. I mean, Natalia as well, all former women's championships. And you could think at any time that they could win or they could have a great match because it became a competitive division. And with the sort of reset of SmackDown with the bevy of talent that you have, because they have so much. I mean, we even saw it in that women's tag team title match on earlier this week. They've got so much talent. It doesn't hurt to me to give it to Ember, to make it a competitive division, to continue to sort of shine up these stars that just have been chilling on the side for so long.
Yeah. I'm going to say Bayley, but I will respect Ember too.
I'm good.
I get it. I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
Because I still think Ember could win in Hell in a Cell. I think they give Bayley that marquee win at SummerSlam, though. I
think, listen, go with the tide. Bayley gonna get booed. She wins. She gonna get booed.
But I don't think that there's a tie with Ember at all. There's no tie with her.
But you present the situation of, like, what are we gaining from putting it back on Bayley and the crowd shitting all over again, and then it becomes like a trend or something to shit on Bayley, and then people saying like Ember Moon should have deserved this title. Like, just let's go with the flow. Let's make the moment at because this is one of the only moments you can make in sort of these matches. Let's make the moment. Let's get it on. Like, let's do it. Like, don't even pussyfoot around it. Like, let's do it. Let's make the moment instead of trying to fight against the tide. Let's go with the tide. Let's just build on the tide. Let's do that. I know it sounds like I hate Bayley over the last couple of weeks, but I just don't think, like, to me, Bayley is a great competitor, but she hasn't had that moment on the roster, nor has she tapped into that character that Sasha's tapped into, that Charlotte has tapped into, or that Becky has tapped into, that takes her to the next level. She's just kind of become more assertive. Like, she's become like, she hasn't gone through the sort of trajectory that worked in NXT, that sort of built her up to be a true contender, that built her up to be an underdog.
That's a smaller arena, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree. But I think the sort of story and sort of carrying Bayley, she hasn't had that yet, so it's hard for me to sort of support her because
you don't gotta defend her to me, bro.
Yeah, no, I understand. I don't want to say like I'm just shitting all over Bayley for just sake, but she hasn't hit that point yet for me. She may have hit it for other people, but she hasn't hit it for me.
Next match, Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton. Love how this program only had approximately one in-person Randy Orton, and the rest have been video packages.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
You love to see it.
SmackDown's 2 hours. I'm sure
Randy's also on vacation. He's also on vacation.
Oh, we've seen. Oh, trust me, the photos we've seen. First of all, Randy, how is he on vacation? In the middle of a title program.
Yeah.
It's the key of listen.
He's a god, okay?
You do what you want when you poppin'.
You feel me?
Future said it himself.
This should be a good match.
I think it'll be a good match. I think it'll be good. I think this won't be the last. It isn't even being promoted as the last. But it'll be good. I think it'll be competitive. It's the one that continues to take Kofi to the next level. I mean, I've talked about this feud for far too long already. Just based on like last week and the last couple of weeks and sort of having this discussion, but I think it's going to be good. I think it's SummerSlam.
Who's taking the title off? I mean, we know he's going to win here.
Who's taking the title off of Kofi?
Who's taking the title off of him?
Shit. If there was a Money in the Bank winner.
It's coming soon. It's coming.
Is it?
Yeah, I feel it coming.
I say...
He's run out of nearly everyone to face.
Yeah, but I say I don't see anyone that sort of takes it off of him. Unless they kind of do a face versus face thing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, you can't say that you don't see anyone.
But I really don't. I mean, the way I could see Roman taking it off
I don't
of
think
him.
I don't see KO taking it off of Kofi, if that's what. Like, I don't think they're going to do that match again.
No. And I don't see... I mean, I can see Roman taking off of Kofi, but it would kind of... The things that's been built for Kofi, it would kind of... All that moment would work against it. It was like, all right, well, you've held it for this long. Now it's the big dog. Let's get this out of the way. Let's chop this up.
Well, no, I don't even think Roman's in line for a title for a long time, to be honest with you. I think that his fall is pretty much set, if you know what I mean. Like, I think he's not going for that right now.
Right.
I mean, heel-wise, the only guy with like really no program are guys like Alistair. Shit.
If you're Eric Bischoff, what are you doing?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm making sure. If I'm Eric Bischoff, I'm keeping the title on Kofi until after October.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think that you take it off of him in December, have him try it again in January, and then have your Rumble, your Mania program after that. I mean, again, when I say it's coming, I don't mean like next month. I mean, like, I think in the fall he will probably drop it.
You don't see Kofi Kingston going into WrestleMania as champion again and then doing this. Okay.
No.
All right. I don't know who's taking off him. Quite honestly, it could be Randy. It could be Randy next month.
That's fair.
It could be Randy next month. I don't think it'll be Randy on Sunday, but I think it could be Randy next month. I think he's a formidable competitor. He's actually a threat. He's someone who's a viable threat, and I could see them taking this off of him. With Randy
at Hell in
Orton.
a Cell.
Yeah, at Hell in a Cell. I could see Randy Orton taking the championship from him. That's fair. Yeah. So
that's fair.
But won't be this Sunday. I got Kofi Kingston winning this match.
Next up, Becky Lynch versus Natalya. I mean, you want to talk about a match that
submission match, baby.
Submission match. I forgot to even put that there. Hey man, Natalya stinks. Okay. She is dirt terrible. I would love her if she was. I'd love her to be like a producer.
Have they flipped her as heel?
Yeah, she's a heel.
Okay, all right. In Canada?
Yeah, it is dire for Becky right now. I think she's gonna win. By the way, I think Becky's gonna win.
Oh yeah, of course. Becky's on the cover of fucking 2K.
Yeah,
you know how that goes.
Yeah, I think this match is gonna be boring as hell. I'm gonna be honest with you. Becky hasn't shocked me or surprised me or made me feel good about one of her matches in a very long time. And what I've seen between her and Natalya has not either. Yeah.
You know, God, they really screwed the pooch on cashing in this Money in the Bank thing. Becky versus Natalya submission match. I don't think I'm assuming everyone's assuming it's gonna be boring as shit. I kind of agree, but I'm also kind of into submission matches. Like I'm a sucker for a good, I like the Zack Sabres. I like the William Regal. I mean, all of those are English style, so it's completely different. Maybe I should just watch NXT UK. But all of these, I'm a sucker for that kind of match, and it manages to book Natalya. It actually books more to her strengths. But yeah, this match, it'll be kind of... the producer on this match needs to hook this shit up. They need to put all the bells, whistles, cool shit, someone breaking someone's leg, all types of extra shit. Like, they need to do that.
That's not going to happen in this match.
No, I mean, probably not. Becky Lynch is going over. This is Canada.
Who's next? Meelz, who's next for her?
Natalya again.
Yeah, I'm shook. I don't know. Like, there's literally no one else for Becky here.
Becky, no.
Sarah Logan?
Nah. Dana Brooke? No. Oh, Clash of Champions is next.
Oh, Clash of Champions. Oh, okay.
Clash of Champions is next, and Hell in a Cell is 2 weeks after that. So, book how you can. Yeah. Clash of Champions. It is.
Is this the time to call up somebody for Becky?
Hold on. Clash of Champions in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
One of these title matches gonna have Charlotte.
yeah. Like I said for the Bayley match, I think that's gonna be a triple threat. Yeah.
It could potentially be. No, if you want to be honest with me, I call up somebody. I call up Shayna Baszler.
For Becky?
Yeah, they need to get that shit on and popping right now. We can't wait anymore. Like the roster has suffered. I don't know if they anticipated Sasha Banks would be back by now, but Sasha Banks is not back unless she shows up after SummerSlam. But Sasha Banks is not back. It makes me think that there's something actually deeper to all of this than we're led to believe, because it's crazy how she's been gone legitimately months.
Half a year.
Yeah, it's crazy. I could never take a sabbatical that crazy from my job without there actually being some other reason behind this. But it'll, call up Shayna. Call up
all three of them.
Or Io. Or something.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think, I agree with this. I think the sneaky call-ups would be Bianca and Shayna.
Yeah, Bianca, to me, Bianca has nothing left to accomplish since you didn't give her the belt, and it seems.
And I don't think you do it now.
No,
I don't think you go back to that.
It's past the moment. So to me, it's Shayna. It's Bianca. You call them up. You get things on and popping. I think Shayna poses a very real threat to Becky Lynch. I think all the talking and Twitter talking, it doesn't. When it comes to the Karabuta clutch, it's all just Twitter fingers after that. So. That's what I'm hoping for.
I think you also open up the door for Ronda to come back if Shayna is in that position.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that Raw sorely needs dance partners for Becky Lynch. Her fall is looking real spooky for me. Even with like Survivor Series, like I know they're going to go back to the brand versus brand thing. It's like we could literally be looking at whoever versus Charlotte at that moment. So I don't know here, but the Raw Women's division is terrible.
Yeah, it is.
It's fucking bad.
It is.
And what I believe to be the main event, Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship.
It's not gonna be much of a main event. I'll be honest with you. With the way this has been booked.
I see them moving on from Seth here. I don't think that. I don't think the babyface Seth or the champion Seth thing went very well for them, and it's no fault of his own. I just don't think it clicked. I think going back to Brock is kind of like what New Japan does when they hit the Tanahashi button and they just say put it back on Tanahashi, like until someone else is ready. I think Seth is losing. I think Brock will win. I think I'm completely fine with that. But who's next for Brock? I don't know either.
I mean, but then again, here's the thing. With Brock, you don't have to know. You figure it out, and then you bring Brock back. Like, you don't really have to know who's next. He's not coming to Clash of Champions. I mean, technically, if every championship is on the line, he has to be at Clash of Champions. That's just the name of the game. So he has to be there in September. But after that, you don't really got to have a plan. I mean, Hell in a Cell, you don't really got to have a plan, anything. You can just kind of fake your way through it. I do think Seth Rollins will win this match. I don't know why. I'm just picking Seth Rollins. I can't see them doing this again, like long term again, for Mania again. Like, because if Brock Lesnar retains here, it's going to Mania, and that's just the name of the game. Like, it's going to Mania, so I can't see them doing this again. Let's put it on Seth Rollins, please. It makes no sense in the world after how everything has been booked thus far. It makes legitimately no sense. Seth Rollins, like, his kidneys should be shooting out of his ass right now. But, make it happen, Kevin.
Yeah, again, like, I've seen people float around Drew McIntyre. He's so depleted. That's not happening. I've seen people say Braun. We've seen it before. Then again, we've seen this before.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
At the end, if Brock is standing tall at the end of SummerSlam, I mean, yeah, we expected it, but if Seth is standing tall at the end of SummerSlam, I'm going to be fucking shocked.
I mean, I'm going to be like, whatever, fuck it. Because everyone complains nonetheless. Brock stands tall, Brock wins the Money in the Bank and then wins the championship. People are like, here they go again. If Seth wins, it's like, damn, same old shit. Like, they booked themselves into some weird shit where fans aren't going to be particularly pleased with anybody. What they really want is probably Finn Balor. But hey, what are we going to do at this point? I have nothing left to say. I have nothing left to say about this match. Everything will be told and sold on Sunday. But you know who does have things to say about this pay-per-view? It is our listeners who brought in numerous hot takes this week that we have to get into.
Let's get into it.
We've got hot takes out the wazoo. We're gonna try to run through these. I don't want to say run through these real quick, but we're gonna answer them. But there's a lot, so. But you guys brought it, so thank you guys for just submitting these things. The first one comes from a very, very familiar name, and
who's that?
It is Cyrus.
Oh God.
Cyrus says, wrestling hot take, Kevin Owens feels more important than Kofi Kingston on SmackDown Live.
Yeah. I think because he has a hotter heel.
Yeah,
to face.
he has a hotter program. I think it's more so because of that. I don't think it's like, I would say so.
They're both booked really well though.
Yeah,
I will say.
but the thing with the McMahon's thing is now you're incorporated so many different parts of the show. You're doing pre-tapes, backstage, in the ring, all types of shit. Getting hit by cars, all types of extra shit. Oh, by the way, do you think we'll get Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam?
No.
No. Okay. All right.
No. I would appreciate if they stretched this out.
I think the best thing to do is to stretch this whodunit shit out much longer than how they've been handling it on social media, where it's like, well, we heard the forklift driver and the forklifts. Definitely doing it because of that. I'm going to go through. You know what? We'll get back to this one because we're going to focus on the SummerSlam hot takes. Or SummerSlam-oriented hot takes. The next one comes from Antonio Salgado, who submitted hot takes before, so, Antonio, you the man. SummerSlam hot take. Kevin Owens and Shane are going to put on a banger. Ducks. And he put legitimately ducks.
No, you don't got to duck.
Easy. Nah, you don't have to duck. Shane McMahon kind of, in these sort of scenarios, he goes kind of, codeine crazy. Like, he goes off. Kevin Owens himself is a daredevil himself. I think that's all kind of lost based on how he's been booked over the last number of years as a heel, but he's a daredevil himself. It could very well go off. If The Miz and Shane McMahon could be better than it had any right to be, this would be stupendous. But it's not. It's also not. Fair. It's also not like a no holds barred match. It's an actual regular ass match.
It's a regular ass match. Because he even mentions if you get DQ'd, it's a wrap.
Wow.
I think Shane has the opportunity as one of the owners or the GM or whatever SmackDown to just call it in the ring and say it's a no DQ. I think that's definitely a possibility.
Oh yeah. This is true. And quite honestly, this pay-per-view needs another type of match because it's all singles matches, no tag team matches.
Yeah.
No other. It's actually a crazy pay-per-view. He says this isn't a non-wrestling hot take, but this is an additional hot take. He says it's Ricochet, then Kofi for number 1 and then number 2. So I think he kind of sides with you for the list last week.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Real one.
Let's see. I don't know if I want to answer this right now. There's another one that's pretty long, but it doesn't pertain to SummerSlam, so I think we're going to hold off that until next week. So Remember, guys, this is
and
just
be clear. If we hold off on a hot take, it doesn't mean we're never going to.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we're never going to get to it. We'll get back to it. It's just we only have so much time in the show. SummerSlam hot take: The Fiend versus Balor. The Fiend versus Balor and Goldberg versus Ziggler will have a combined match time of 2 minutes. It's squash season, and he says also Randy versus Kofi will be match of the night. This comes from Tayshawn to Don. Do you think The Fiend and Finn Balor, if The Fiend and Finn Balor, I keep saying The Fiend, Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor and Goldberg versus Ziggler go under a combined mind in 2 minutes, we're getting some long-ass matches on this show.
Yeah, we are. I think AJ and Ricochet is going to get some time.
AJ, honestly. Ricochet, Kofi, Randy.
I think Charlotte and Trish might get time too.
I don't know. I feel like if the only match, I would say probably Becky versus Natalya based on the stipulation, right?
Yeah.
But, I don't think Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor is lasting less than 2 minutes. I think Bray Wyatt does his long, wrangly, dangly ass shit. We got the next one from Omar Sanchez. SummerSlam hot takes. He has multiple, so we'll kind of just breeze through this. It'll be kind of a speed round. Kofi needs to win here against Randy. There is no other option. He looked bad. He looked so bad proving Randy right, while the Mania moment will always be there. It ruins his title reign. What do you think?
I don't think the his moment will be ruined. I don't think that they.
No, he said the moment will always be there, but it just ruins his title reign. Yeah.
Oh no! He said title reign. For all things considered, for this generation of titles, like of title holders,
been the best one. Yeah.
I think it's him. To me, it's him and AJ. I think I've had, to me, some of the best title reigns of the past couple years.
Yeah, probably this decade, to be honest with you.
I think they've both been booked really well. I mean, they kind of didn't stick the landing with AJ at the end there, but I still think that it was still a really good title reign. I mean, Kofi's beaten everyone. I can't say it's ruined anything. There's no shame in losing to Randy Orton.
Right. Let's fire off these couple ones next quick. He says Ziggler should beat Goldberg to catch everyone off guard and set up Ziggler versus HBK match, and also create Goldberg has nothing left except one last match. I don't agree.
No. You don't give that to Ziggler. You have him get his win back from Taker. That's the goal here. People got to realize they're heating Goldberg back up.
Right.
To go and get to for something. I don't know what
they're doing something with Goldberg for sure.
Yeah, it could be Roman. It's something that's going
because on. Because you don't want and done with Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, no. They heat up Taker. Again, he got the win over Goldberg. You do it again.
Yeah, I think so.
To me, it's a no-brainer.
Number 3, this should have been Natalya's last match. She has nothing to prove. She has nothing left to bring as an in-ring talent. She should retire and focus on Total Divas and become a producer and a trainer. This is kind of what you said.
Yeah, I think that's really that's to me where I think that she would really. I mean,
Toronto is a way to go if you want to retire. Toronto.
Yeah, let's not put retirement on her.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I mean, I'm just saying, you in a great place. I mean, she's not even from Toronto technically, but Canada.
But she seems to get along with all the women, so I think that if she was a producer or something like that, she'd succeed very well in that role.
I mean, we just did say her matches are boring as hell, so I don't know. And number 4,
but that's different. That's different when you're telling somebody else how to make a good match, though.
This is true. Number 4, he says Rollins should lose and go away for a month or something.
He should lose and do what?
He should lose and go away for a month or something.
No, he's not. That's not going to happen.
The next one comes from The Real. It's with an A, so you know him. He's real. The Real. For all the underutilized take that Dolph Ziggler has been getting for the last 5 years or so, from the time he came back with Drew last year till now, Dolph has literally been in the prime spotlight for over a year. Multiple main event top-level programs, feuds with Seth, The Shield, KO. He was the Final 4 in the Rumble this year, comes back and is in 2 pay-per-view feuds with Kofi for the world title. He's always on both Raw and SmackDown, and is now in a program involving Shawn Michaels and Goldberg. Add, if he stays on SmackDown, he'll be good because Eric Bischoff is a big fan. I better never hear how he's never given shit ever again. The real lived up to the name, man.
Look no further than Meelz as someone who will definitely agree with you.
Listen, the Carfax says it himself. You did it much better than I did, but yes, he better not talk about he don't get shit ever again.
Yeah, I don't think you need to have a belt to be appreciated here. I think Dolph is one of the greatest kind of hands that they have. The
greatest tool they have. I agree.
You can't go wrong with Dolph Ziggler when you're trying to get somebody over. I mean, I think like after Goldberg, who you think he's going to face next? Aleister Black.
This is true.
Like that's going to be that to me would be the next step for him.
What do you feel about the AEW thing right now?
Give us one.
This comes from Big Arms Buddy. It says,
okay.
I mean, shout out to Roman Reigns. Chris Jericho is a geek. It's embarrassing being a fan of his and seeing how corny he has become since signing to AEW. All of a sudden, he has criticism out the ass for WWE, but before, if anyone criticized him or the product, we were marks. It's even worse that he literally does an episode a month doing predictions for WWE pay-per-views where him and some guy trash the product despite admitting that they barely wash. Maybe put that effort into inviting unknown guys from AEW and giving them some shine.
Hey, I like that take.
Listen,
I don't got nothing to say to that.
Chris Jericho is a geek. That is the way you start off a hot take.
I like that. I like that take. I think you're absolutely right. Oof. I think that Jericho he drinks a lot. I would say that. He drinks a lot.
This one isn't a SummerSlam take. You know what? We might end up... Let's just speed around a couple of these. Michael Hickenbottom says... Bret Hart is the most boring top face in WWE history. God bless anyone who was watching and made it through the new gen era. Listen, we had a special moment a couple years ago where someone tweeted something, who is the most overrated superstar ever? And I think we both tweeted Bret Hart.
Yeah, we did.
We agree. I don't know if I agree as vociferously as you do, but I definitely do agree.
Respect him as a performer, but as a champ, nah.
Yeah, we're getting more AEW stuff. This one is from Fact. It says, being the elite has gotten even more cringe since AEW became a thing. Couldn't use ROH, Indie, and TNA wrestlers in their video. Has being the elite gone downhill?
I've stopped watching it. Yeah. I think I stopped watching it shortly after... Keep it 100 with you. Shortly after the AEW was announced, that's when I stopped watching it.
I agree. I never watched it. The name Ric Flair's plug.
Wow.
Wrestling hot take. Bayley is the most boring of the four horsewomen, and her run as women's champion has been incredibly forgettable.
Nah, man.
I mean, if she loses, it's gonna be really forgettable. Like, I forgot she had Money in the Bank and then won it. Yeah. I'm going to agree with this hot take. I can't agree with that. I think if she doesn't lose, maybe her best days are ahead of her. If she does lose, I mean, Bayley gonna lose anyway. She don't lose Sunday, she losing some point. It's just,
I think a lot of the people are about to lose their belts in the next couple months.
Losing is just in the DNA. His non-wrestling hot take is The Leftovers is one of the greatest shows of all time. What is The Leftovers?
It's an HBO show.
Okay.
It will make you cry. It'll make you cry.
Like good, like cry laughter or cry sadness?
Cry sadness.
Oh my god. Yeah. Euphoria.
I have to get through the first season.
This name is Mass Confusion. Why are SCU heels? What's SCU?
The SoCal Uncensored.
Oh. Okay. The product. I watch it. Why are SoCal Uncensored heels? Their entire gimmick doesn't work as their entire gimmick doesn't work as faces. Someone please turn them. I think he means the entire gimmick doesn't work as heels. I don't know.
I don't think they work. Period. I don't like.
I think they should stop working, and it's You're good, man.
Two old dudes and a black guy.
Yeah, you proved it. You're good. I don't like it. I don't like that. This one comes from No Name. It says Nikki Cross being the most successful member of Sanity while Eric Young is barely a cameo in the 24/7 madness is hilarious.
We all called that. I think we all called that.
I think so too.
When she was debuted, we were like, she's the one that's gonna make them legit. And even in NXT, she did. I think breaking her away from them, it was the writing on the wall for Sanity.
Yeah, I mean, and it's in these situations. I mean, look how popular. You look at Team Extreme. Lita was insanely popular, potentially even more popular than both the Hardy Boys during their run. Carmella, Enzo Cass, she's the one who, it's typically those X Factors, Chyna and DX, like those X Factors. Women are really a lot of X Factors in a lot of these different things, man. I feel like Melina had a much better WWE career than either John Morrison or the producer.
Well, no, I can't say
John Morrison.
Morrison had a pretty good career.
Melina won the title 6 times.
Morrison was a 5-time IC champion, ECW champion, tag team champion too.
What a bum.
How is he? He's not a bum. What are you talking?
I don't like the cut of his jib.
Joey Moore, yeah, because you're wrong. Joey Mercury probably the bum of those.
Joey Mercury is definitely the bum.
Yeah, like what are you talking? Like Morrison won tag titles with Mercury, won like 3 or 4 more with Miz, and won the IC title a bunch of times, and won the ECW title.
He's still kind of a bum. I don't know.
You just don't like him.
I don't like him. I don't like him.
Thank you. Just say that.
I don't like him. And that is why he's a bum to me. This one comes from the B Show. It says, not really a hot take, but Ali, Cedric, Alistair, Ricochet being all built up at the same time is dope. I agree.
Yeah.
That is dope.
Yeah. We said it last week. Really cool that we could have a top performer list and the top 2 guys are African American. So
well, we have one from my friend. Shout out to Jay Ramsey. I love this guy. I've known him since high school. He listens to the podcast. A fan of me. I appreciate him.
Wow. I'm not a fan of you. So.
Wrestling hot take. The Seth hate is slowly creeping up on the Roman hate in terms of how quickly he was turned on.
Not in actual arenas.
No, not in actual arenas. People still cheer Seth. But I still think the internet is turning on Seth Rollins. I mean, but it's not like a powerful.
It's just a bunch of internet geeks. Like no one gives a fuck about what people think on Twitter. Seth still gets reactions. Yeah. Only thing that Seth doesn't get reactions for is when he main event shows. That's it.
His non-wrestling hot take. People hate on New York for their music bias, mainly hip hop and rap, because we're not out there giving any and everyone flowers. And with that note, Lil Wayne ain't even top 10. Wow.
This proves my point.
Okay.
From earlier about Lil Wayne.
All right.
Somebody said, it's only old heads that were saying that. Well, they're a fan of you also.
Oh, well.
Fan of you also, Meelz. So I'm gonna let you handle that one.
I love Josh. Thank you for listening. This name is Work Lurk Chill.
What's up, Work Lurk Chill? He's a huge fan of the show. He tweets me all the time. Shout out to you, brother.
All right. He says wrestling hot take. All right. I thought this was a non-wrestling for real quick. Okay, run this back. If Kendrick drops a new album before the end of 2019, Sasha Banks may never wrestle again.
No.
I like where that go.
I like that.
She's been tweeting Kendrick like he's fresh out the box. Like she just heard Section 80. She's like, excuse me? There's another album? She needs to go back to work.
Nah, whatever. Like if she not back by October, it's whatever. Like I'm tired of people pulling like the CM Punk shit.
Yeah.
Like,
non-wrestling hot take. People who dip their wings in blue cheese shouldn't be allowed within 150 feet of schools and or government buildings.
I mean, just the thought of that makes my stomach hurt. I'm lactose intolerant.
I don't like blue cheese. I don't like the smell. I don't like any of it.
Yeah. Smell like feet.
What's your go-to chicken dipping sauce?
Since I've been like lactose intolerant, like I've been trying to wean myself off of the ranch and all that shit. But I'll still do ranch. Like just not a lot.
I'll dip anything in honey mustard, man. Anything.
Even Buffalo?
Buffalo too, man. I'll dip any.
You're a
I don't think I
psychopath.
put honey mustard on pizza.
All right, bro. You are definitely from the.
Honey mustard
Bro, I
is
don't even
delicious. Honey mustard is delicious, man. This one comes.
They're gonna cut your foot off like Big Mama. Let's make this the last one. I gotta eat.
All right. This one comes from Latino Heat. It says, "How would you guys have booked a 24/7 title off of Maria? WWE should have brought it back. Snitsky, if you know, you know."
They should absolutely have not done that. I think what they did on Monday was actually. I know we don't talk about it 24/7, but I thought what they did on Monday was actually really funny.
I thought what they did was dumb, but I get it, like an ends to a mean.
I love that it was Mike getting his comeuppance.
I think they should have. So, do you remember when Eddie Guerrero won the Intercontinental Championship from China?
Yeah.
It was a triple threat match. I think it was either with Hardcore Holly or Chris Jericho or some bullshit like that. China got knocked out in the middle of that match. And then Eddie goes to check on her by covering her and trying to see if she's well, but the referee counts to 3. And he surprisingly wins the belt. Surprisingly, but not so surprisingly. And I guess this is appropriate because Latino Heat sent this in. But if they did something like that again, I'm pop for it. Because, I mean, God bless Eddie Guerrero. I miss him so much. Just a great way to take in sort of that situation. Have Maria. I don't know if you can have her slip or something. But, like, she got to take a bump somewhere or be lying down somewhere.
She can't take a bump. What are you talking about?
Maybe she gets knocked out. I don't know. She got to...
No, she can't take a bump. She's pregnant. You don't see her stomach?
We got to find some way to get her on her back. And
whoa.
All right. Okay. All right.
They found a way. The OBGYN.
She wasn't even really on her back. Like, it was... All right. All right. I get it. Yes, the OBGYN.
That was genius.
That was genius. I'll give it.
Unless she's asleep, like there's no other way.
They could have done that.
Sure, yeah, but they already did that with Jinder in Truth.
But maybe they
on the plane.
I don't know. Give me a week. You know, Meelz Booking will get on this, and we'll figure out how to get the title off of Maria. His non-wrestling hot take was the Chance the Rapper needs to hold an L for the big day.
He needs to hold the L for life.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you guys.
Boom.
We got through a lot of hot takes.
You got through a lot of hot takes. You got an action-packed show of the A show this week.
Absolutely. You got me off the Red Bull this week. So, as always, follow us at RNC Radio Live for all of the latest in the brand and the crew at RNC. As always, you have the A show every single week. You have a new episode, the season finale of Overly Medicated this week that just came out. Also had the G show with myself and Cyrus, and you also have not spot callers. That's coming later this month. You also have the call up with MJ, where he'll be giving his NXT TakeOver Toronto predictions. I cannot wait to hear what he has to say about that. But yeah, Meelz, that's all I got.
We have the new episode of The Lookout coming next week. Summer at Kame House. This time we'll be going over Jeff's anime pick. We both have an anime pick this month. He has picked Hunter x Hunter. It is a show he holds very dear to his heart. He loves that show. He loves everyone on that show. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go through it. So if you're a fan of Hunter x Hunter, please listen to this episode. If you're a fan of anime in general, please tune into The Lookout itself. Once again, we still have an episode of Mount Silver with me, myself, Jeff, Pat, you meaning Justin. Episode 3 where we go over Gold, Silver, the Pokemon. Got a lot of great reviews, got a lot of great feedback on that episode. A lot of people seem to enjoy it and going back into their childhood. Please check that out. Lay fees, 1 year. Y'all killed it.
Yeah, man.
Over a year at that. We're approaching our 100th episode. We're also approaching 2 years. So God bless us all.
Yeah.
This has been very, very fun. We look forward to SummerSlam on Sunday. Please, we'll be live tweeting. Feel free to tweet at us. I'm at Meelz TV. Justin is at OG Johnny 5. Feel free to tweet at us. Please feel free to join the discussion. We love tweeting while the pay-per-view is on. That's all I got.
All right. Until next week, where we will be reviewing the cards from this weekend. including SummerSlam, and I guess we'll give our thoughts on Takeover as well, and everything in the world of pro wrestling. Until next week, see you guys later.
My champion's still black, y'all.